Investing. Okay, let's be honest. It's a word that can feel, well, a little complicated, maybe even intimidating, right? But what if I told you the core ideas are actually super simple, really powerful, and for sure accessible to everyone? In this explainer, we're going to tear it all down, demystify investing, and show you exactly what you need to know to get started. So let's just dive right in.
We're going to kick things off with this brilliant analogy from one of the most successful investors on the planet, Warren Buffett. This one idea, a snowball rolling down a really long hill, is the key to pretty much everything we're about to talk about. The wet snow? Well, that's the money your money earns. And that long hill? That's just time. You put them together, and you create something truly incredible.
To really wrap your head around this, check out this mind-bending example. A normal piece of paper, right? It's about 0.1 millimeters thick. Now, if you could somehow fold it in half 50 times, how tall do you think it would get? The answer is just staggering. It would stretch 95 million miles. That's basically the distance from here to the sun. See, our brains just aren't built to think exponentially like this, but that's the kind of power we're dealing with.
So what exactly is this wet snow that makes our financial snowball get bigger and bigger? It's a concept that Albert Einstein himself apparently called the eighth wonder of the world.
It's called compound interest. And here's the magic. It's not just about earning money on your initial investment. No. It's about earning a return on your past returns, too. It's a chain reaction. The money your money earns starts earning its own money. This isn't slow and steady growth. It's exponential, just like that piece of paper we were folding.
To see this in the real world, let's talk about two friends, Michelle and Matt. Michelle, she starts investing right out of the gate. She puts in $250 every single month. But she only does this for 10 years, and then she stops, doesn't add another dime. Her friend Matt, on the other hand, he waits those 10 years before he even starts. Then he invests the exact same $250 a month, but he keeps at it for the next 30 years. So, who do you think has more money in the end?
Okay, the results here are pretty shocking. Michelle, who only invested a total of $30,000 over 10 years, ends up with over $500,000 by retirement. Now Matt, who invested 3 times as much, a total of $90,000 over 30 years, ends up with way less. The difference is more than $134,000. And why? It's simple. Michelle had a longer hill. She just gave her snowball more time to grow, and that, my friends, made all the difference.
All right, so we get it. Starting early is crazy powerful. But the big question is, where do you actually put your money? Let's open up the basic investment toolkit and take a look.
First up, you've got stocks. Now, when you buy a stock, you're not just buying some digital blip on a screen. You are literally buying a small piece of ownership in a real company. You become a part owner, and you get a tiny slice of its profits and its growth. It's that simple.
Next in the toolkit, we have bonds. Okay, so if buying a stock makes you an owner, buying a bond makes you a lender. You're basically loaning your money to a government or a big corporation. In return, they promise to pay you back the full amount, plus regular interest payments along the way. Now, for someone just starting out, picking individual stocks and bonds can feel kind of overwhelming, and that's where funds come in to save the day. Just think of a fund as a big basket that holds dozens or maybe even hundreds of different stocks and bonds all at once. By buying just one share of the fund, you instantly own a tiny piece of everything inside that basket.
And all this brings us to the core trade-off in investing. You see, stocks represent ownership. That means they have higher risk, sure, but also the potential for much higher returns. Bonds, on the other hand, they represent a loan. They're generally lower risk, which also means they usually offer lower potential returns. Getting this balance is absolutely fundamental.
So we have the tools. Now we need the blueprint. How do you actually put all these pieces together and build your very first portfolio?
The absolute #1 golden rule is diversification. You've all heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, in the world of investing, this is the single most effective way to manage your risk. By spreading your money out across different things, you make sure that if one area takes a hit, it can be balanced out by gains somewhere else.
So how do you do it? Well, one of the simplest and most powerful strategies is called dollar cost averaging. It's a super easy 3-step process. 1. You pick a fixed amount of money, maybe it's $100. 2. You pick a regular time to invest, like once a month. 3. You invest that amount automatically no matter what the market is doing. This builds discipline, and more importantly, it takes all the emotion out of the game.
Now, big picture, there are 2 main ways to approach this. You've got active investing, where a manager is trying to pick winners and beat the market, and then you have passive investing, which doesn't try to beat the market, it just tries to be the market by tracking an index.
For most beginners, a passive strategy is a fantastic, low-cost way to get started and just remove all the guesswork.
Okay, so you can have the perfect plan, you can have the best tools, but there is one more massive hurdle to overcome. And honestly, it's the toughest one of all. It's your own mind.
So let me just ask you this. What do you think is the single biggest risk when it comes to investing your money? Is it a stock market crash, a bad company, a global recession? What is it?
The biggest risk is you. It's us. Our own behavior, driven by powerful emotions, like fear and greed, is usually the biggest threat to our own long-term success. We are literally hardwired to make terrible financial decisions at the absolute worst times.
And here's a huge reason why. There's this psychological quirk called loss aversion. To put it simply, the pain of losing $100 feels about twice as bad as the joy of gaining $100 feels good. That intense fear of losing can cause us to panic and sell when the market is down, which is the exact moment we should be holding on or even buying more.
So, with all that in mind, what are the key rules to carry with you? What's the compass that's going to guide you on this journey? Let's nail it down.
All right, here are the golden rules. First, always remember the awesome power of compounding. Let your money work for you. Second, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Always fight risk with diversification. Third, never ever try to time the market. Instead, focus on your time in the market. And finally, make it a habit. Invest on a regular, automated basis.
And that brings us right back to where we started. You see, the principles really are simple. The potential is absolutely enormous. Your long hill is just sitting there, waiting for you. So the only real question left is, when are you going to start rolling your snowball?